Okay. There we go. And we're live now. All right, so yeah, it'll fire up over there in a second. Basically, greetings all you unbelievers that are about to listen in on this. I have with me today Casey Atheist, who's your real name is Randy, correct?
That's it, yeah.
All right. So basically what I want to hear is how you fell from your belief and became the atheist that you are today. So why don't you go back as far as you can remember, like the first few things that sort of made you think, well, what the fuck is this crap, and why am I believing this, and sort of led you down a path to your atheism. Does that sound like something you can handle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, my mom kind of used the Sunday school, I assume it's like time away. And so me and my brother, she used to send us, but she never went. And my parents got separated when I was young, like 5-ish.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, I went for, 2 or 3 years, and it just, as I was, going, I didn't really think much about it. I didn't really impact my life at all. And then when I was about 10 or 11, I started to kind of, I got saved, I guess you could say. And so
you got saved?
I guess you better read the Bible. And so that's what I started to do. I had questions. I went to the youth pastor. He didn't have any answers. So I went to the big pastor of the church. I'll never forget. I'm sitting right across from him, and I'm like, why should I think that God was here? Where did God come from? How do I didn't know that he was just there? And the dude said, man, he's like, he's always been there. And it was like a light switch in my head. I just knew it was bullshit. The people that that wasn't the first person I'd questioned, but, that was like the end of the road. I asked my parents, my grandparents. And nobody had the answer. I mean, nobody could tell me anything except for it's just how it is. And for most of my life, that was just where I stayed. It didn't impact my life. I called myself a non-believer. That was probably right at 12 when that happened. And I didn't even know the word atheist. It didn't affect my life. It didn't anything. People would ask me, and I would just say, I don't believe that. I didn't have an alternate explanation. I just knew that was nonsense. I couldn't move to square 2 if you never filled up square 1. I just couldn't do it. I still today, I just don't see it. If there's no explanation for it, why would I move to the second premise to even think about it?
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. And like I said, that was for most of my life. I never even questioned, didn't think about it. Until I was about, I don't know, probably in my 30s is when I came across Atheist on YouTube. The Friendly Atheist was the first guy I found. And I was like, this is, because, my whole life, I was an atheist before I was a teenager. So there was never anything aimed at me, I didn't feel like. I'd like, music-wise and stuff, I was fine. But I never thought there was anything, aimed at me. And I'll never forget the first time I heard somebody on TV, say there was an atheist. I'll never forget. It was Bill Hicks. I was having sex with a chick, and I stopped because he was talking about God, and he goes, I just don't buy it. And I was like, that was the first person I'd ever heard it say on TV, and I was like, that is fucking magic. I was happy as shit. Like I said, that was when I was 20 probably. But until I was 18, I just called myself a non-believer. And then I met a guy who was an atheist. I was like, oh, that's an atheist. And he told me, and I was like, oh, I just called myself a non-believer because I never even thought about it, I just knew I didn't believe it.
Right. So you knew that you were a non-believer quite young then.
For like my whole my whole teenage years. I can't say I was really. I felt like pretty much alone. If in that aspect, because there was nobody to talk to, at all. I didn't know anybody else. I didn't know anybody, like I said, for 6 years till I met somebody.
Right.
Having like an online community would have been awesome. It would have been, an outlet to talk about it. It would have been kick-ass. That's kind of why I really value the onlineness. I don't know if it's a community, but whatever it is, I dig it. There's other people who think like me. I can still, even now, I mean, there's, my kids I've raised without any religion. My spouse was moderately religious, and now not at all. It's just, it's like I said, it was never really a thing in my life that I didn't really know anybody. So an online community would have been something really, really, would have been really something useful. I would have really liked.
So,
I mean, and now I kind of, well, not my Wi-Fi is jacked up, but when I get that worked out, I mean, I usually before I move, I want to go on YouTube and Twitter and look for new atheists. I try to tell them about the other people around. There's a lot of people online. You might not know. You might not realize how many people there are. There's a lot of people that don't believe. You don't have to feel like you're the only person. I do that. I try to do that. Well, I haven't done it since I moved, but I did it a lot before I moved. I just want people to. I just try to reach out and let them know that I appreciate. That they don't have to feel shitty. You know what I mean? I don't want them to feel alone. And then what's it like?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm ready. Go ahead.
When did you start calling yourself an atheist? Like, was that after you found a bunch more people and realized what was going on?
One other dude. I had the word for it. I did, like I said, I was just a non-believer. People would ask me, and I'd just tell them. They go, "Why not?" And I go, "Because it just doesn't make any sense."
Right.
I mean, even now, it just doesn't make sense to me that people, adults, believe it. I mean, if you read the Bible, I read the Bible. It was so nonsensical to me. It just didn't make sense. And like I said, I was 12 years old, and it just didn't make sense. And I went to all the people, and since then, I've heard thousands of people try to talk to me about it, and it just is not. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't add up for me.
Right. That's kind of how I feel too. Yeah.
Like I said, adults believe it. It's crazy to me. Like, it's easy. The first thing, if somebody wants to talk, the first thing that I'll bring up, if I'm bringing it up, we're going to talk about Noah's Ark. It's just easy. I mean, it's like, come on. It's like a fairy tale somewhat.
Yeah, that one for me was also just like a story. Like it didn't ring true at all, really.
That, and I mean, who's the bad guy in the story? There's one bad guy, the dude that kills everybody. There's no ambiguity at all. It's straight up. It's right there, dude.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because I hear others talking about this Noah's Ark thing, and they're like, that if it was what they're claiming it is, then those people that were on board, all 8 of them, they probably would have been dead within the first day just from the methane alone.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's just the whole thing. The boats that big don't work with wood. I mean, people have tried to do it and they bend because it's too long somehow.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not too long, but it bends them somehow. And it just doesn't work. The whole thing just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just nonsense. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. You look around and you see the divisions that this has caused through history, and even now today. I mean, even in people's families.
Yeah.
Just for not believing that there's flimsy at best evidence for, and people lose everybody in their life. Or, you know, some people lose more than that. You know, some places will kill you for it. It's just, that's how I started to call myself an anti-theist. It's just because it reinforces the, you know, division between people. It gives excuses for bigotry. I mean, I just can't. I don't see very much good in it at all. I really don't. I mean, the community part I can see, but you can get that elsewhere.
Yep.
I just don't see a good. I don't see good that comes out of it. I see, you know, some, you know, religion on, I guess, in an individual level is not as harmful as I see it as on like a societal level. Because when we're basing decisions on things like that, like, you know, the current administration is trying to do in the United States, it just, you know, how do you base law?
They're almost trying to get a theocracy going again.
They're trying hard. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's, you know, that's one of the, I mean, besides, you know, everything else, just as an atheist, there was no way I could have voted for Trump. And that's without even all the social bullshit. I mean, I don't want to get into that. I fucking hate that dude. Right? I think he's fucking America up. Yes, man. I mean, seriously, he is for real doing real damage. It's going to take a long time for us to repair. You know, that's all the shit that we know about. What don't we know about this happening?
And what is going on in the background there?
I'm just clumsy, my bad.
Oh. I guess your phone has some form of a noise cancellation or something, because it kind of cuts in and out or something.
Oh, sit close if I need to.
Yeah, if maybe because you could be a little louder. Let's put it that way.
Okay, no problem. I will try to talk a little bit louder for you.
There, that's better.
I kind of mumble anyway. I've heard that forever, so that could be a thing too. Oh wow! I don't know who I am. I'm too old to hide from it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess. Do you consider yourself like an activist at all, or like?
See, I don't know. I'm not on the fence about that. You know, I hear people like Seth Andrews, you know, says, you know, people that just talk about it and are open about it, you know, are somewhat activists. I mean,
sure.
I don't know that I would call myself an. I mean, you know, it would be really good to get a job in the movement somewhere. You know, it would be fucking amazing, actually.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, that there's not a lot of spots for that, and we have a lot of really good speakers that, you know, tour around the country. Because really anybody, I would probably be, as far as like Matt Dillahunty, I kind of relate to him. He's like close to where I'm at, and he didn't, you know, he doesn't have like a PhD, you know what I mean? He's like a regular guy that did research and made himself informed about shit. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I view, you know, that's kind of how I think of myself as somewhat like that. Not near that level, but I mean, certainly not activist wise, but that's just kind of how, you know, he's just a guy that just did what he thought was good, and it ended up being something for him.
Yes, it did. Yes, absolutely. Mind you, he's very knowledgeable about the Bible and stuff like that, even the Old Testament, because he was going to be a Baptist preacher or something at one time.
Yeah, I don't have the, you know, vast Bible knowledge. I don't pretend to. There's some things that I know, but there's lots of stuff that there's so many, just, you know, there's just so many inconsistencies and contradictions within it that like I said, I just don't see really the usefulness of it. You know, there's so many other good reasons to do good things that you don't really have to have this outside reward, you know, stick and carrot type of system.
Yeah, I have a copy actually on my phone. I keep a copy of the Bible itself in here, and I
Yeah.
have a bunch of other
I'm
resource
gonna own the
apps
Bible. I can't say I love to own the Bible, dude.
like
It's
logical
been,
fallacies.
see, that's
Like it'll pop up stuff like personal incredulity, stuff like that, right? It's a great little app.
I bet it's useful.
Oh yeah.
I bet it. Like I said, I try to rely more when I'm speaking with somebody just on. You ever heard Penn talk? Penn Jillette?
Yep, I sure have.
I think he talks about atheism in a much warmer way than anybody I've ever heard. Now he used to be way more confrontational, but now he's like the way he talks about it, it's just he talks about I'm an atheist because religion's not family enough for me. I love it when he does that kind of thing. He talks about it like that. Like I said, he's probably my favorite current speaker, and it's not even really that close.
Who Penn is?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like as far as listening to him talk, dude, the way he talks, as far as current people, he's like probably my favorite speaker. I would say, as far as atheism or secularism or something.
Oh, really? Well, I also very much like Aaron Ra.
Oh yeah,
Richard Carrier and Seth. Obviously, when he does his live stuff, I listen to his podcast, The Nonprofits. Like Jeff D is one of my favorites.
So. I love Jeff. Jeff D is my favorite host for sure. Atheist Experience.
Yeah,
he's funny. He was quick to not take any shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people, and I get the be nice. I don't attack people directly, but I don't see everybody else is polite. I don't have to be. That's how I look at it. I'm serious. As far as people's beliefs, all day long we're going to run into people that try to tiptoe around, not trying to say anything bad about their religions. I'm going to say what I think, and the cards will fall where they may. That's just how I am. I can't just let things that I think are bad for people just happen if I can help it.
Well, shit, I had something in mind and it just fell out of my head. I hate it when that happens.
Like I said, the YouTube portion, even the Twitter. I mean, the atheists online have kind of.
You mean like the YouTubers?
It's changed for the better, like the kind of like community thing. It's changed a lot since when I first got on YouTube. When I first started watching, I mean, I watch more YouTube than most people, and more than I'm gonna tell you. A lot, dude. Way too much.
I watch stuff at work when I'm at work, even so.
More YouTube than I do TV. I mean, there's like 3 shows on TV that I watch: Vikings, Game of Thrones, and The Walking Dead. And The Walking Dead is gonna kill Rick, so he's gonna get cut. So.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna kill him yet. I haven't read that. I heard that he may actually amicably leave the show, kind of like what's his name there? Went over to the Fear of the Walking Dead, but apparently now he's coming back. He's heading back. So
I missed this weekend's Fear. I forgot that it was on.
Yeah, that's Morgan talks about. He's heading back to Virginia, back to Alexandria. So
I've been wanting more. Until he moved to Fear, which I really liked the beginning of Fear this year. Mm-hmm. But die for a long time. Morgan just with that peace crap was on my nerves. I like the cheese guy that he liked from. That was cool, and but it just when they were getting attacked and stuff, and he's trying to save a guy. I mean, there's on that show. There's just certain ways that certain people seem. It's hard for people to turn around on that show.
True enough. But now there's talk that Maggie will probably be leaving too.
I've heard that too. Yeah, I've heard that Maggie was leaving too. It's I mean, what I'll try to watch it, but I don't know what the show's going to be without Rick. I mean, really, Rick is why I watched the show.
Yeah, well, he's been there since day one, and he's still going in the comic books too. So
It's about Rick, if you ask me. I mean, and they killed Carl, which I think that's a bad move. And then now Rick's not. I mean, what's the point? What the whole thing was Rick doing shit to keep his family alive and to keep people he loves safe. That's how I've always, thought of the show.
yeah.
And with that, when Carl died, like I said, it was Carl. He was kind of hit and miss. A lot of people didn't like him, but I dug him. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I didn't mind Carl at all. I liked all the memes that came up with Rick always saying something to him, and the 3-panel meme that would come up all the time.
Walking Dead till probably season 5, so I watched it all in like a week.
Oh, did you?
I watched like 50 episodes in a week. I mean, it was awesome. Actually more than that, like 50-something, 56 maybe in a week.
You're right.
And, I mean, it was an awesome week. Don't get me wrong. It's like reading a book. You ever binge something? It's like the closest I ever got to, like when I was a teenager, and I'd read a lot, and it'd be up late, and I just wouldn't want to stop reading. I just keep reading. That's kind of what binging is, seems like. It's like it's close to that same sense of feeling, I guess.
Oh shit! I'm binge reading a bunch of stuff. I got 3 more books coming in the mail. I already have them on Audible. But I always like to have a hard copy as well as a copy to listen to, like if I'm driving or something. Especially if I'm right into one of the books that I'm reading, I can just go to where I left off reading and listen from there on in the car or wherever.
Book I got it on Audible as well. I liked it. I mean, it's real convenient that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen to podcasts. I listen to 15 podcasts a week. So some of them
so do I. I use Castbox for podcasts.
I've been using Apple. I mean, I've tried Stitcher, I've tried Podbean, I've tried a bunch of them, but I just use the Apple one. Seems to be the most convenient. But it doesn't have, if you want to find, you can't find everything there. Some of them you have to go to. Some of them that I don't know. They just have different ones. I don't know why. I assume maybe it's popularity. I'm not sure.
That could be. I haven't had a problem finding any podcasts on Castbox at all. Like, if I fire
video, 3 Black Heathens, it is really good, dude. You should check it out. It's on YouTube at least for sure. It is kick ass. You should really listen.
3 Black Heathens, you said?
Yeah, really good, dude. Awesome. Maybe you don't know. Atheist is a guy, probably around our age, lives in the South, and there's another guy that is a lawyer, I believe. Actually, I'm sure he is. He's a lawyer, and I can't remember what the other guy is, but I know he's still going to school. Drag. You should check it out. It's really good if you haven't listened to it.
I will.
Watch it. Yeah.
Somehow.
I've only done like 2.
Something's wrong here.
Oh, really?
No, it's just on my Castbox. It's not showing all the ones that I subscribe to for
YouTube. I don't know that it's on to be downloaded anywhere yet. And you know what rationality rules is? Neil.
And my what? Say that again. Sorry.
Rationality rules.
You keep coming out there.
Oh, rationality rules.
Oh yes. Stephen.
Yeah, he's supposed to be at the end of this week's podcast. That had the Cosmic Skeptic on it. Alex was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Next week is Steve. On Unbelievable. It's a podcast from that UK radio show.
Right.
It was really good. Alex did really good. That's like, I've heard Alex on there before. He's like on there against Frank Kirk before. And the guy this time, I don't think was quite the same. I don't think he went to the level that Alex was at. I don't think.
Alex is a smart guy. That they all are. Like Drew, genetically modified skeptic. He's really smart. Alex is smart. Steven's fucking smart.
See his video where he came out. It was really, really good.
Well, he just released. Drew just released his coming out atheist.
That's what I was talking about. It was really good.
Yeah,
really good. Yeah, I gave him shit about being in the closet. I shouldn't have. I feel like a dick about it, but I did. I ain't gonna lie. Just because I just think that for myself, okay, this is just for me. I couldn't wait to tell people. I could not wait. I was like, I still am every day. I'm excited about it, just because, you see, lots of people never even think about it. Like my parents, they don't even want to talk about it. They just, because, they'll say something to me and I'll say something that directly goes against it, and they just don't. They're not willing to even dig into it at all. They just don't want to.
What you mean, dig into the atheism, or
just the belief in God, why they believe, just things like that.
They don't want to discuss it?
Not even a little bit.
Wow.
They're not like crazy religious or anything. They just aren't interested in talking about it in any way at all.
Like not at all.
No, I've talked with my dad more than my mother. They just, like I said, they just, neither one of them really. They just don't. I don't know. They just don't. They don't want to think about it, I guess. I don't know.
Strange.
It mattered to me. I couldn't, like I said, when I became an atheist, I could not talk about it. I just didn't believe it. I was, excited to tell people I knew. I was like, look at this nonsense.
I was kind of the same way when I first kind of decided to go completely ballistic with atheism. I was like all over people. I do want to try street epistemology. I think that's going to be, once I get a little better at it, it'll be my next series of videos will be epistemology videos.
Like I said, I try not to be a dick on Twitter, not the people for sure.
You're not really.
It's just not one of them things. I try to be funny more than anything if I can.
Yeah.
Or mad. A lot of times there's just a lot of things. Like the way that I hate to keep going back to this, but the way the current administration is just ignoring the Constitution, it just drives me crazy, man. It's just.
Well, it's that whole thing now. I can't remember where it's happening, but they want to put in God We Trust in schools again.
Well, it's in Florida.
Is that in Florida? Okay.
Passed in some things to see there's no way really to get it to take out because it is the United States motto as well. They changed it in the 50s.
Yeah, 56 or something.
That's why we can't. That's why they're doing it. We all know it's nonsense and they're trying to be slick, but it's transparent. It's just like calling creationism and intelligent design. It's the same thing. Trying to rebrand nonsense.
Yeah, it's not so intelligent.
It's just dishonest. That's what a lot of what bothers me about apologists and things is just the dishonesty of it. Just the.
Oh yeah.
I don't intentionally misrepresenting scientific things. Like evolution. Just most people that bitch about evolution are nowhere near what evolution is. I mean, when they try to explain it, it sounds like magic. No wonder you don't believe it. I mean, that's there's no wonder.
Those guys also trying to, when you talk about evolution, for whatever reason, sometimes they bring up the Big Bang, and I'm like, that's totally different. Like, what are you fucking bringing that in for?
Jensen's coming in. I mean, for real. Abe Jensen is going to make an appearance if you're talking about evolution with some Atheist religion. It's going to come in.
At least that's related.
Well, somewhat. But it's still different.
It's the beginning processes. They don't really know how it happens yet. But
there's no outrunning evolution, all right? I mean, there could be something, but right now there's so much. Everything points to evolution. All the evidence we have so far. Many different disciplines of science. They use evolution to do things. To make drugs. To just medicine. There's so much.
Oh yeah. It's one of the foundations of modern biology, is what we've learned from evolution.
Oh, yeah, without that. Right. I just, but I try to talk to people about evolution.
Yeah, that's better.
I really ridicule, and that's hell and Satan, and that's just coming out. I'm serious. I just can't. It's to believe in, I don't know. It's just as silly as believing in God to me. It's just silly. Like I said, I can't. I don't have a good way to describe it. It's just silly. It's like an imaginary enemy. I mean, it's just crazy to me.
Well, hold on. Isn't Satan the imaginary enemy?
What I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I said hell and Satan's the only thing. Instant ridicule. All right.
Well, I can't remember where I heard somebody talking about this the other day, but they're saying that God is the one that has killed like literally millions of people, and according to the scriptures, Satan's body count is like 10. So who's really the asshole?
The God character of the Bible is pretty bad. I mean, really. I don't even know. When did he come and just show up and help everybody? Just one time. And not hurt anybody else. When has that happened?
If there truly was one God, there would be no difference in any of the world religions. There would be literally one religion, because everyone would know this. There would be no different doctrines, because he just set the record straight. And he's going to say, look, this is how it is. And I'm going to be off in the universe fucking around making other places. So worship me, love me, whatever, all the nonsense, and you'll be good.
Yeah, there's no reason to be unclear at all. There's just no reason for it.
No, I don't see any at all.
It would have to, it would be clear. There would, in the holy books would not treat women as less than men, and for what rationale is there? If you made them both, why would you think that one was better than the other? You know what I mean?
Well, he could have made them both at the same time out of dirt too, right?
Well, that's just nonsense from the jump. But either way, I mean, or slavery. You think he would be? You think he would? One of his things own another one of the things that he made. I mean, it's just nonsense. Just like I said, it just reflects the values of the time.
Yeah, it was written by a bunch of misogynistic bastards. But he also got to think that God's all-knowing, apparently. So everything that has ever happened in human history, he already knew ahead of time. So he knew about the fall in the garden. He knew about any of the fucking mass amounts of people that were killing others in his name. He knew that was going to happen way before it happened. Did he do anything to stop any of it and say, whoa, 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 guys, calm down? No, he didn't.
There are so many things that just show that it's just, it just doesn't hold together.
No.
For me, it just doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of smart people that believe it, and it just, I don't know how they hold on to it. I don't. You see them, it's like, I listened to a guy yesterday that clearly is a smart guy. Oh, he was on with Shannon and GC on the Heathen Hour.
Oh, yeah.
And Smart dude, really smart dude. I've heard him on the Great Faith community before too. He's brilliant dude. I think he's a Reformed Christian or something. I can't remember what Reformed apologist. I think he's name. He's a smart dude. But man, he was just trying. I mean, he knows a lot of stuff, a lot of different apologetics from a lot of different people. So they would bring up something that he would say, well, this guy explained it away this way. I mean, he knows his side, really well. But it's just explaining away just horrible things. I mean, wouldn't it be easier just to not follow him? Like I said, there's just I don't see why God would be worth worshiping. I mean, honestly.
I don't see how anyone can worship that guy, considering what he's done.
Because he made, like I said, I just don't, I fundamentally just don't understand it. I just don't get it.
Nope. And it's funny because they'll say the same thing about us. We just don't understand how you can't believe. Like, look at the trees and look at birds and the complexity of the human eye, which I found, first time I heard somebody say that was Ken Ham while he was wearing glasses. The complexity of the human eye. That's your intelligent design there, Ken. That's why you need glasses.
But I mean, by now I've been an atheist for 33 years. So I mean, it's been a long time. I kind of don't even really remember what it feels like to believe in God. I mean, it's been a long.
Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm right here. Am I not hearing you? You can hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Right, sing for a second.
Just seeing how. We have somebody's watching us, so that's good. Yeah, I guess there were a few people waiting for us to get going, but I guess because we took so long to get going that a lot of people had to fuck off and go elsewhere.
Like I said, the phone had to update the Android, so I guess that's like probably maybe because she hadn't used Google before.
Possibly, but it doesn't take too long to update. But yeah, I guess I don't know why your Google Hangouts app wouldn't work. You'd say that you would go to the store, and then you'd hit open, and it would just shut.
I think it's because it needed to do the update before it would let Google work.
I see.
I think that's what it was. I'm guessing that.
We should have ironed out these kinks beforehand.
I thought about that.
You live, you learn.
I felt like an asshole, but that's all right.
Hey, you're not an asshole. Shit happens, dude. We just go with the flow. That's all you can do. What am I gonna do? Start fucking picking shit up and throwing it around the fucking room, and what am I supposed to do?
But I
gotta wait for you.
Yeah.
And I just spilled coffee. All right.
Dude, I'm clumsy. I ain't even lie. I'm clumsy as hell. Still my drink all the time. Freaking ashtrays, my fucking bong, just all kinds of shit. I'm always, I'm just clumsy. I don't know why.
Too much weed.
There's never too much. That's not a thing.
What is this too much you speak of? And I got a bunch of. I got to roll a couple myself pretty soon, but I got some little roachies waiting for later.
So where's 604 at?
Huh?
Where's 604 at?
604 is the area code for Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver.
British,
cool. Right on.
British Columbia. That's where I live.
Very cool.
The home of BC Bud.
Oh yeah, I know where it is. Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, lifelong cannabis enthusiast. Okay.
All right. I knew I liked you.
Oh yeah, I've been. Like I said,
have you heard?
I used to go to like camp fests and things like that. Normal would sponsor them, and that's just because that's what I like to do and I like to hang out.
Yeah.
And I remember like an old lady coming around. She had like a beehive thing in like a metal tin, and the government used to have to give her marijuana because they couldn't sell it to her because it was illegal.
Right.
Which I thought was Pretty cool little thing. Very ironic.
Have you
But
heard
it,
of? Have you heard of what the hell is his name now? Stulosophy or Drunken Philosophy? You ever watched his channel?
I don't know. I haven't. On YouTube?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
He's an ex-Mennonite. I think he's an ex-Mennonite. Or what's the other one with the fucking sacred underwear and all that? Mormon. One of those two. And I'm going to be interviewing him soon too, but he had a bit of an incident in his house where his office got flooded. So they're dealing with that. And once he's back on track, I'll watch some of his stuff. He's a pot smoker as well. And he always blazes up, and then he does these thoughts on religion videos, and they're quite entertaining sometimes. So it's another YouTuber to check out.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll put it. I got an extensive list. Because I like Game of Thrones, so I kind of subscribe to some of the channels that do theories and reviews and things of that. Plus, I like metal, so I subscribe to like labels and bands and things. I got like 370 something like that on my list, on my YouTube list.
The 307 people that you follow, or
376, I think, or 370 something. I think last time I counted them. On my YouTube subscription. Yeah,
you don't really upload anything, do you?
No, I haven't. Like I said, I got it right after Trump got elected. I'm still pissed about it, clearly, but I got a blog, and then I started writing. I wrote, 4 or 5 things, but I never published any of it, and I just stopped doing it. It sounded good, and I was fired up. But I guess kind of Twitter because, like I said, I just want people to feel. I like to make them feel, like they're not the. I like to that. Right. I think that's valuable. You know what I mean? I like to do that. Man. I really.
So you're using Twitter as your platform to do what you got to do.
Or YouTube as other people make videos, or say something in the comment section. I'm talking. I leave comments a lot.
Yeah.
Some of
them are pretty funny.
But I just leave thoughts.
Yeah.
There's no delusion that anybody gives a fuck what I have to say. It's not a big deal. I just have something to say, so I'm going to say it.
That's the way I look at it too, man. If you got something to say, might as well say it. We need more of our voices out there saying what they say, right? So.
Just being like that, I found a whole bunch of people that I like. I mean,
yeah.
Essentially, like I said, as a teenager, I was kind of alone. I just operated under the assumption that you're an asshole unless you show me otherwise. I don't do that so much now, but that was like how I did. And, it was effective. You know what I mean? All the people that I found were not assholes. It was pretty easy. It just, I don't even know where I was going at. That was just a tangent.
Well, everyone's got something to say about it. I mean, in our community anyway, so there's lots of different channels that I subscribe to that I also, do stuff with on Twitter. And, we promote each other, and I think that's really cool. I think our community has grown quite a bit actually over the past little while, and the way that we support each other is pretty valuable, I think.
Yeah, really, like I said, I love it. I think that it has changed so much in the last, I don't even know, maybe 2 years, maybe, maybe not quite that long, but
yeah, I would say so.
It's like the whole vibe of it has changed to me.
Yeah.
It's much more positive, much more welcoming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how that's kind of how I view it. At least, maybe that's just me, but that's how I the people I interact with. The people I watch regularly and talk to.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, me too. I came out of nowhere, really. I have another Twitter that I've been using for the past probably 5 years as for my other YouTube channel, which is the gaming channel, Sayers13, and I do all my Yu-Gi-Oh videos on there. A lot of people are
Oh,
like, "This fucking guy plays Yu-Gi-Oh, really?" And I get that quite a bit. But yeah, my ex-wife's kids got me hooked on the game, and
the card game.
yeah, it's fun. I used to play Magic the Gathering and shit like that. And
My oldest son played Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time. He was, I discovered skateboarding, but he
well,
played
that's
Yu-Gi-Oh.
cool.
Oh,
So
yeah, he
does
was really good.
Surus.
I mean, he's like 20. Yeah, he's like grown now. So
Yeah. Well, most of the guys that when I started going to actually playing in local tournaments and stuff, and then of course all down in San Francisco, Long Beach, Anaheim, we go down to the big tournaments down there. And it's kind of fun because you sit there and the kids come up to you and they're like, "Oh, you're that Sayers13 guy," and then they give you my boss card that I use for my deck. They'd always give me a common version and have me sign it for them and stuff.
oh, that's
So
cool.
it's like being a little bit of a mini celebrity, which kind of was weird for me because I'm not used to that sort of thing. Most people just look at me and go, whatever, and then walk away, right? So, you know, but it was kind of fun because, and these kids would always come to me and go, and they want me to introduce them to all the other YouTubers that they saw, right? So, can you go introduce me to that guy and get an autograph? Sure, sure. I don't even know them, but oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'll go over there. I don't care.
You know, even like the YouTube creators, they seem to interact with the people that watch them and talk to them way more often. You know what I mean? It's more like, I don't know. It's more like a relationship than you're just watching some guy. You know what I mean? Which is kind of the way it used to be. I don't know about a relationship, but it's something different. It's much better.
Yeah. Well, I want to get out to some of these big conventions that they always hold. I actually had plans
Skepticon is like 3
to
hours.
go to the one in Ogo, but you kind of broke up on that last one.
Skepticon's like 3 hours from my house. There's no excuse for me to not have been to one yet.
Yeah, you should get out there. I want to get out to a couple of them too because I want to meet. I communicate with Eric Murphy from Talk Heathen quite a bit on Facebook, and I phoned in their show one time when I was.
Yeah, because it's my it won't play YouTube. So.
Oh, did you see that one or listen to that one?
No, I haven't watched that one yet. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna because
I called in
watched it
because
like,
I was always
like cameras. I won't play YouTube. Those are like the two things that are wrong with it. I can do anything else. I can watch anything else, but YouTube just will not load. It's a weird deal. It's T-Mobile, in case anybody has a solution, that'd be awesome.
yeah.
Break it up. Hang on. Is that bad? Is that better?
Yeah, you're better now. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I moved the phone over.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's actually much better.
Moved it like 3 inches. Seriously? Okay, I moved it like 3 inches. So, okay.
it sometimes that's all it takes, man.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I'm not seeing anything come up in the chat, so I think we only have one viewer. So our one viewer, if you have any questions for KC, now's the time to throw one in the chat, which I've got down there that I'm watching. So, but other than that, who would be the first YouTuber atheist that you saw and then continually followed?
He was the first guy I ever saw on YouTube.
Yeah, and I was like, as an atheist, and then you were like, yeah, I'm following this guy.
Like I said, I was 30-something years old. I've been an atheist like since I was 12 years old. So he was just talking about it openly, and he wasn't confrontational. He was just every now and then he'd have like a little snarky shit to say.
Do this Penn?
Do what?
You're talking about Penn?
No, I was talking about Hammett Mehta, the friendly atheist.
Oh, yes. Okay.
He was the very first person I ever saw on YouTube.
Yeah, he's actually very good.
Oh, he's an awesome representative for us, I think.
Yeah.
And then I watched TJ. Logic was kind of gone for a while. I'd watched Logic for a while, and then he was gone for a while.
Awesome. He's pretty awesome. He's got some funny shit.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, very funny.
And Vice Rhino, I like him too.
Oh, Vice Rhino is Telltale.
Yeah. Godless Cranium, Godless Engineer, of course, the Non Sequitur guys, all that stuff. Tune in quite a bit.
Kick ass, dude. It's hard for me to name them all. I mean, really, because I watch. There's so many really good people that I watch.
Yeah.
Have you Shannon's video? Shannon Q. She takes a different approach. She takes a different approach to things. I think
Shannon Q?
Yeah, I think it's really useful. Yeah.
I like her videos. She's direct and to the point.
I really do too.
And Apologia, her boyfriend too. He's got some good stuff.
He makes awesome videos. I mean, like I said, there's so many people that I watch that
I know
they're just kick ass. You know what I mean? They're just good people. They're just friendly. I mean, everybody's cool. Like I said, I really like how it is now.
Yeah, they totally they will communicate with you if you approach them and stuff. So they don't like piss off or anything like that. They're not like, go away. They're actually very accommodating.
I mean, in any way, yeah. Like I said, I mean, on Twitter, hell, you might get anybody to talk to you. And I don't mean like YouTubers. I mean like everyday people. Kurt Schilling one time cussed me out and blocked me before I even knew he responded to me. Kurt Schilling was a baseball player. He was talking about abortion. Abortion. Something about it. He was claiming that abortions are women using birth control. I was like, you don't know shit about shit. What are you talking about? How is it your business? What's it got to do with you? I mean, I got labeled a bigot and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, it's not baseball, so shut it.
It wasn't because it wasn't baseball. It was just because he was being an asshole.
Well, no, I know. I mean, that's his expertise, right? Is the baseball shit.
He's like a conservative. He's like somehow in the conservative movement now. After he retired from baseball, like I said, he had cussed me out and blocked me within. I had done something else. I said, because I mean, whatever. There's not really, there's not much that people online can say to me that's really going to make me mad.
No. Because you realize it's just internet troll bullshit, right?
Don't give a fuck. I mean, I just don't. You know what I mean? Chances are, chances are it's a stranger. You know what I mean? So it's whatever. It just doesn't bother me. People get all. There's always like drama. I just don't get involved in drama. Like
there's been quite a bit lately too. Actually, I found.
I just try to stay out of it. I mean, as much as I can. I'm an adult. Sure. I just can't argue about nonsense about things. I mean, and some people are dicks. I ain't gonna lie, but I don't know. I just try to stay out of it. Really.
Yeah, that's all you can do. I only get involved if I'm brought into it, right? And then I just state my piece and I'm done.
I have a rule. Nobody's above to fuck you. All right. I mean, that's really there's no doubt that's my rule. And I mean, if somebody's, then they get it. And so, I mean, there's no reason to take shit from anybody. You shouldn't let someone treat you bad.
Of course not. No,
I mean, in any way.
You give what you get, right? So if someone's going to be a douche to you.
Like I said, I'd much rather make somebody feel dumb than anything else, really. If I'm arguing with them or something, I'd much rather, say something witty to them than anything else. as far as insult them or anything like that.
Yeah, what's that going to accomplish? What's that going to accomplish?
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything for anybody.
No.
Drag us down. Drag us down.
Exactly. That's exactly what it does. Do you think you might ever get a YouTube thing going, or?
Oh, I mean, I probably will. I just right now, like I said, with no Wi-Fi stuff, because I've really thought about it, and it seems like a lot of people are just trying it, giving it a shot, and some of the people that are just giving it a shot are fucking pretty good at it.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm doing. I figured, fuck it, I got to get my voice out there too. So,
doing like more of a talking thing would be better for me, probably. I thought maybe writing. I don't know. Like I said, I like to have an avenue for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
well,
I don't see a blog being really effective. You know what I mean? A blog's not something that somebody's going to go out of their way to go to. You know what I mean? On YouTube, it's like right there, easy. It's accessible.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's easy to do this sort of stuff too, I think. So that's why Sorry?
I said I don't have Facebook. I've never had Facebook.
No, you don't, eh?
I've never made one ever. I just never saw the draw for Facebook.
I use it as a platform to push other things too, because I also I'm a blood donor, which you probably know already.
I have one, I would guess, but
I actually started a Partners for Life group here in Canada to honor my dad, who was BC's highest donor before he passed away. And I recruited over 200 people now I have in the group. And every year we garner around 450 to 500 donations annually. And they're always looking for blood here. So I'm always pushing the whole blood donor thing using Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. And other platforms. And I also was going to donate a kidney to save a friend of mine. But at the last moment, they told me that they weren't going to go through with me because they found minor issues on each. One had a tiny stone and the other one had a tiny cyst. And they said it's too risky. So I put the word out through Facebook and Twitter. And a bunch of other people have now stepped up to give it a shot. So they're currently in the process of being tested. And if none of them pan out, then I'll try another, bullhorn and get out there and, hey, looking for kidney, right? Because the guy's a friend of mine. He's a cop.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Four kids, a wife, and a mom that live with him. I mean, if he died, what would they fucking do? He's literally their lifeline, really. So.
Oh, yeah, I had a friend of mine. Yeah, he had a wife and 3 daughters, and got killed. And it was, they just fell apart after that. It was a crazy deal, man.
Yeah,
crazy deal. And it was crazy that he was the guy that held all that together too.
Right. Yeah.
He looks exactly. He looks a lot like you. I look at him and I always see Greg Allman, and it just fucking. That shit. Oh, his name was Cavity. He was good dude.
When I first started doing some of the atheist type stuff, and I became a patron of Aaron Ra, and we did a hangout with him, and he's like, "Holy shit, your hair's longer than mine." I'm like, "I know."
Like I said, there's so many people I'm just going blank with that I listen to, people on Twitter. There's just so many. There's so many kick-ass people I ran into online.
Yeah, me too.
It's like I said, it's really kick-ass actually. Because I know atheists, and actually Kansas City has a very healthy secular community, way bigger than you would think if you lived here your whole life, like I did. Like Recovering from Religion Foundation was started in Kansas City, which is like Dr. Darrell Brown. If you know who he is, he's awesome, dude. He's been on Atheist, lots of different podcasts. JT ever KCK.
Yeah,
Matt was.
is,
I mean, that's just.
I don't mind him. Were you talking Matt Dillahunty?
Yeah, he was either born in Kansas City or lived here for a while when he was a kid before he moved. I think he lived over by St. Louis.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's in Austin. So.
Who else?
I want to get down there and do their back cruise and hang out with them one day.
Oh, yeah, it'd be so badass. Like I said, it'd be awesome.
A bunch of us should do that. I think a bunch of us should make a plan. Say next year, because there's no way I'll make it this year. But next year, like next October or whatever, we should all, like a dozen of us, fucking buy tickets, get a hotel, and go and hang out in the studio when they record. And
for sure,
I think that would be awesome.
And also, I think that, I want to try to go to the Facelift Forum with a whole bunch of. Be cool just to meet everybody, really.
That's that you're talking about the two girls that just started doing that, right?
No, the thing that
what the fuck am I thinking?
Caitlin and
oh yes, of course. Yeah, I love those. I love those two. They're fun. They're great people.
Was it in Texas? I think. Oh, it's awesome.
Who?
Peanut butter, dude. How badass is that?
Yeah, the 850 pounds of peanut butter or something. I was part of that, man. I was part of that.
Dude, it's so kick-ass when when people do shit like that.
Yeah.
I really.
Hear about the one guy that was complaining about him doing that shit?
See, I started to leave them I didn't see that part. I started to leave a comment on that video. If somebody's going to complain about that, just give him a fuck you and send him on his way. I mean, I don't know what else.
Pretty much what they did.
That's what I would say. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't. What he started complaining about? Because it wasn't organic. Is that who it was?
Yeah, that's right. The guy was going, "No, you're getting killed." It's like, fuck off, asshole. Why don't you go and do something, donate something to somebody instead of pissing these guys off who are doing something good for orphans, for fuck's sakes.
All right, I go, is this organic? They're just going to go, okay, thank you. They're not going to wonder if it's organic. Like I said,
they're not going to care.
No, not at all. Would they?
It's stupid. The guy's just being a douchebag. That's all it is.
Sure.
He's got this fucking holier than thou attitude, and he's just a douche canoe. I love that expression, douche canoe.
That was pretty good.
Not enough people use that word.
I like the made up words that people use on Twitter, man.
Made up words, yeah.
Like Caliban Jellicle, dude, I love that. Okay, I picked it up months ago, and I use it a lot. I like it. Exactly the point. What else? The cover-up caucus for the Republicans, love that.
Yeah.
I'm digging that. The Vlad administration, I'm digging that.
That's got to be one of my favorites.
Dude, that is so cool. I haven't been able to work it into it too yet, but I'm working on it. I like I'm not even joking. That's like some of the funniest shit.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
funny.
It's just so crazy that a guy like that's our president. A guy that's just a dipshit. I mean, I don't even know what else to say.
Obviously, your country was screaming out about their current presidents in the last little while, so they wanted something completely different.
Seriously, I thought that I knew where I lived, and I thought I thought I knew the people around me.
No,
I didn't. I was wrong, dude. I never really felt more wrong. It was so crazy. It fucked with me. I reevaluated everything. I drew a line. If you cross that line, you can fuck off. Right? That's where we're at. That's where I'm at. Not even joking. I saw people telling people. I saw a guy that I watch, and he was like just telling people for being Trump people. And I was like, man, that's just going too far. It's going too far. And dude, he was right. He was right, dude. I just don't even know how to say it. I mean, the people that support him, dude, I just think and look at them just differently now. I just do. I don't know that it's ever going to go away. I hope it does, but I don't know that it will. Because how do you just overlook so many things that elect such a terrible person to be the leader of our country?
I don't know. It's like they're spiraling backwards to the way things were when it was okay to be an asshole and a bigot.
Dude, I'm not having it, dude. I'm just not gonna live like that.
Fuck no.
Like I said, and just are wrong that I think that they're doing. There's so many. I mean, not even just like policy wise, just like people. They're just fucking. They are hurting people. I think it's fucked up. I mean, if you'll defend kids getting taken away from their parents, I don't know where the line is for you. I don't know if there is a line for you. I mean, honestly, I don't. What else? I mean, people are saying that people are going to be mad that he used a racial slur. Dude, that is in their rearview mirror. If you are apologizing, if you don't care that he's taking 8-month-old kids away from their parents, a racial slur is not even going to fucking come up on your radar.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you ask me, okay, like I said, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about any fucking thing. But I definitely have some serious opinions about it. It's just, like I said, I just can't. I don't see how anybody could have voted for any capacity at all. It was so clear that he was going to be harmful to America. I mean, we need a politician to be the president because a regular person doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Mm.
I mean, it's clear. Just like, people say like Oprah be president or this Michael Avenatti. If we haven't learned anything else, at least learn that we need a professional politician to run the fucking country.
Well, hopefully,
there's a lot of things that we need to change, but man, we can't just have. He has unqualified people in important jobs.
Yep.
And it's just.
He's unqualified, and he's in the most important job.
It's just bad for everybody, man. This is not good for our country. I mean, that's not even going up the Russia shit. The compromise in our security with the election for sure. I mean, they're doing everything they can to not fucking protect the election. Republicans voted down I think it was in the House. Every one of them voted against putting more money into protecting the elections in the states. Every Republican voted against it. How do you justify doing that? How can you justify not protecting? I mean, people that are in the government have already came out and said they're trying now. And the Republicans vote no to give it more money to try to help protect. I just don't.
Yeah.
Anything other than treason. I mean, that's just fucking open treason. Like I said, they're endorsing pedophiles. There's so much shit that they're doing, dude. I just don't understand how anybody could support the totality of that shit.
I don't know, man. But yeah, you're right. He's done things that if anyone else had done it, they would have been impeached.
Right. Whoever it was should have been. I mean, there's no reason for him to. The only reason he's getting away with a lot of this shit is because he's doing so many fucked up things at once. Because when you're looking here, and then you're looking here, and then you're looking here, it's hard to get everybody to focus on one thing because he's fucking up so many things all at once.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure it's by design.
Possibly. I don't know if he's smart enough for that.
See, I think he's dumb as shit too, but maybe, like I said, I could be wrong because I clearly have no fucking idea where I live. It really, like, as you can tell, it fucking kind of fucked me up. It bugged me, dude. It did. It still does.
Yeah, it still bothers a lot of people.
And we're just, they're trying to reinforce this.
I'm just glad I live in Canada.
A different skin color makes you less than someone else. I just don't get it, man. It just kills me.
Which is bullshit.
I
don't understand that whole thing. Like, people have to realize it's one race, man. The human race.
Well,
just they're like every other species, we come in a variety.
Dude, if he gets elected again, okay, if he makes it into 2020 and gets reelected, at the end of that, At the end of 4 years, I have no idea what the country's going to look like. But at the end of 8 years, I have no. I mean, I think back to like Escape from LA and stuff. You know what I mean? Things burned out. There's like fences, line the road, and there's like fires and barrels and shit. Like a very dystopia.
Dystopia,
future, right? This fucking crazy shit, dude. Like I said, I never could ever foreseen that shit happening. And dude, you never know with the way. I mean, seriously, I think like I said, people think I'm crazy, but dude, they are. Dude,
well,
the shit that they're doing, there's a lot. There's so many things they're doing that's just damaging America. And I just wonder how far we can go away from where we were and get back. I wonder if we can get back. Because half of the country.
Of course you can.
Dude, half the country, maybe not, probably not half, probably 40%, high 30% that are behind this dude.
I think a lot of people that used to support him are falling off that wagon, though. I'm noticing that quite a bit.
I hope so. I don't know, and I can't. I just don't have a good sense of it. I really don't. I wish I did. I know what I think, but yeah, what I think is just not what was. Like I said, it just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. Just how could you vote? Like a lot of people voted for Barack Obama twice and then voted for Donald Trump. How is that line? I don't see how that line goes. I don't. My dad says people are trying to shake it up. Shake it up. This isn't. Shake it up is not. Like I said, I could be wrong about anything. I'm not so boastful to think that I fucking know anything really fucking. But there's certain too, I think. I mean, really, and he's just. I mean, look at you guys arguing with Saudi Arabia, and we're with Saudi Arabia. How the fuck does that happen? I mean, it just. I just doesn't. I don't get it. Like I said, I just don't understand.
I don't give a shit. They're mad at us anyways here in Canada. So.
How are you guys are fighting with them, and we're all fucking siding with fucking Saudi Arabia? It's ridiculous.
Well, they're trying to get all their students out of here. They're trying to get all the fucking business out of here and all that shit, right? It's like whatever. Well, Trudeau's a bit of a douchebag, anyways, too, right? So.
Sure, but he's doing what he thinks is best, though. You know what I mean? I'm not.
He's miles above Trump, in my opinion, but he's still a little on
the president was doing things that weren't what he thought was best to do. Trump is just doing things to help himself,
more or less.
People like him. I mean, don't forget. Oh, wait, and white people in general, for sure. But I just don't get. Like I said, the shit with the Hispanic. I just don't get. The Hispanic people are more. They're more like the Republicans than I am, and there's just no doubt about it. I look like Republicans, but I'm nothing like them. The Hispanic people are more, a lot. I can't say I love them, but I don't know all of them, but all the guys, I worked with a lot of illegal guys, the guys that were, came across illegally. Dude, they're the fucking people. I mean, seriously, they're no different than anybody else. Like, they're just fucking family-oriented people, way more, they go to church, they believe in God. They're more family-oriented than a lot of Americans are. And that's what Republicans claim to love is family. You're being family oriented and you love God. But clearly that's not what they value because these people are just like that. There's a lot of people that are religious. It's not all of them, of course, but there's a lot of Latin American countries are highly Catholic. There's a lot of Catholics.
What do you mean?
I mean, there's a lot of Catholics, and they're highly religious.
Yeah. It seems to be the popular choice.
It's just they're just highly religious.
Mm-hmm. It's quite a bit, for sure. I've been down there. I've seen. It can be pretty crazy religious in some places.
Really? I mean, you ever watch that metal show from South America, dude? They are having the best time of anybody I've ever seen. I mean, it'd be like in the like even in like the 80s, Iron Maiden, you know, as a kid, 10, 12, 14 years old.
Yeah.
There's like 100,000 people watching them in some soccer stadium and
like in Brazil and shit even.
I'll go see a band that I like, because what I like is never in the mainstream really. And it's, there's 180 people. They'll go to Europe and, there's a lot. There's 20,000. South America's 100,000 people. We got like 110 people.
It's crazy because I like a lot of the kind of off to the side obscure bands from the mainstream ones. And a lot of times, like when we used to go to like a Lollapalooza or something, I'd always go watch the side stage. And that's, I saw Tool on the side stage.
There's between a show and a concert. Huh? To me, there's a difference between a show and a concert. A show is like a small venue. That's
it's more intimate.
It's just better. To me, it's just better.
I think so. I like those.
And the bands, the bands I like, they're super heavy, but they're just all just regular dudes. I mean, everybody's pothead. Everybody, and I can't say everybody, but a lot of them. Till recently, I found a couple of Christian deathcore bands, but it's super fast, super heavy, and everybody's just all the same. Everybody's real cool, real open. It's not quite the same at a big concert. My best friend for 30 years he's a stagehand. He was a stagehand for a long time, and so I've had a lot of access to backstage and stuff for concerts. And the smaller shows, like I said, the guys are just much more open to just shooting shit with you, hanging out. Like I met a bunch of the guys from Slayer, Dave Mustaine's a dickhead. I mean, there's a lot of big bands. I've met a bunch of big bands, Anthrax, and a lot of old metal bands.
Yeah, I've met quite a few too.
Yeah, it was cool. And like I said, most everybody's just real cool. A couple people do have like rock. Like Dave Mustaine has rock star syndrome. All right, well now he's kind of crazy, but
my cousin used to own the production company up here in Canada called Periscope Productions, and he would all the bands that would come through, I'd be able to go see for free all the time. So.
That's kick-ass.
Backstage, yeah.
Yeah, they had like a lot of big bands too, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and working in a record store for years as well, back in my youth, was able to get tickets to go see all the smaller venues and stuff like that. And one time I'm sitting and I'm watching. I went to see a band called Mother Love Bone. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in there and I'm having a beer and I'm like, well, what the hell? This Mother Love Bone band's not going to be playing. What's going on? And I said, well, there's another band that came in to take their place because the singer Andrew Wood had passed away. So they were calling themselves Mookie Blaylock, after the basketball player. And I'm like, okay, well, I hope they're good. And turns out that was going to be very, very shortly after I saw them. They were going to call themselves Pearl Jam. And I was sitting on the stairs, drinking a beer with this long-haired guy next to me. I bought him a beer. I'm like, what are you doing? You need to have a beer when you're watching bands. And Alice in Chains was on the stage. And I bought him a beer, and it turns out I was hanging out with Eddie Vedder before anybody knew who the fuck he was.
I got a similar story. That I was backstage at a show. I just graduated high school, so it was like within a month of me graduating high school. It was Clash of the Titans, I think. It was like Anthrax, Slayer.
Oh, God, I remember that tour.
Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
We're standing backstage. We're standing in the back because my buddy we just went in the back because he worked there. So we're just hanging out, drinking at my car, doing shots of Seagram 7, and we're just passing around with this long-haired dude, the guitarist for Alice in Chains. I had no idea who the dude was. I had no idea who he was until I saw him on stage later. No idea who the dude was at all.
Cool.
Soundgarden was. Their first album was okay, but and they had a lot of popular stuff, but I didn't really listen to them. So I didn't really know who it was. Because I mean, I've always kind of liked the heavier music. I mean, it's
See,
just,
Alice in Chains is one of my favorites. I like some of the heavier stuff. I like a lot of music. If it's good, I like it.
I like it. Dude, there's nothing. Death metal is what I listen to. You know, that's what I like. Now there's kind of some other kind of strains of it, like deathcore and metalcore, but dude, it's all I dig it all. I'm not even kidding. And like old Iron Maiden still holds up, dude. I
love old Iron Maiden.
I went and saw them like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago. They were fucking
4 times. I've seen them.
No, I've seen them a bunch of times, dude. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Metallica, like 6 or 8 times. Yeah, like
twice.
Before I discovered like the small venues, like early '90s, it was I went to like a lot of big concerts, and then once I discovered the small venues were just better.
I like them because they're more intimate.
Well, the music is heavier, because what I like usually is not really all that popular most times.
Well, it's got its following, that's for sure.
Oh, I dig it. Like I said, I'm used to the guy with having an unpopular opinion. It's been a lifelong thing. I don't know why. I'm not a contrarian on purpose. I just don't like a lot of shit that everybody else does.
You ever listen to my band yet, or what?
I don't know if I have or not. Is it on your YouTube channel?
No, I don't have anything on there, but it's all on SoundCloud.
Well, you've got all my stuff. I mean, shit, I'll give you my stuff on them when we get done if you want. Whatever.
Well, you have some tunes too?
Oh no.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link in the Twitter, see if you can check it out. It's not like mega heavy like the stuff you're usually used to, but we've got some harder edge stuff and acoustic stuff.
Something else. Like I like Tesla a lot.
I like Tesla as well. Yeah.
Because they're just them. You know what I mean? They don't like Queensryche. I like Queensryche a lot. Yeah. I mean, my favorite stuff is by far the heavy, crazy, kick-ass, mostly satanic shit. It doesn't have to be that, but that just tends to be what the subject matter is. It's the music that I dig, and plus I can't lie. The lyrics too. It's like the shock value doesn't shock me. But
I write all my own lyrics, so
it was awesome. When I was younger, it was good for shocking somebody. But
a few of our songs, actually, I have some lyrics that are quite old that I wrote long time ago, and there's still a little bit of I don't know, references to shit that I used to believe.
Yeah,
but still kind of cool.
It's in the past. I like to try to see things on the good side. Like when somebody is mad at somebody else, I try to say, hey, maybe they were thinking this. Just try to give somebody like a kind of a different perspective.
Sure.
I don't do it so much for myself, but for other people, I'm not bad at it. But for myself, not always.
Well, dude, I gotta end this because I gotta take off. It's gonna go have some barbecued trout that I caught a little while ago, and a couple of steaks and stuff. Surf and turf kind of thing. My buddy's gonna throw barbecues.
It was fun. I appreciate you asking me to come on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on and doing this for me. And maybe when you get a little bit better Wi-Fi or something and a computer set up, we can chat again because I'll do some more chats.
Right on, man. Cool. All right. Sounds good.
All right, man. Thanks again, Casey Atheist. Guys, follow him on Twitter. What's your at thingy? It's at Randy _
Hensley. Yeah. At
Hensley.
Randy _ HENSLEY.
HENSLEY. Yeah, follow him on Twitter because he doesn't do anything on YouTube and he doesn't have Facebook. So you can attack him on Twitter. That's what I would do.
I'll be here.
All right, and thanks for sharing your story, although we kind of verged off of it into a whole bunch of other stuff pretty much 20 minutes after we started, but that's okay.
My bad, man.
I don't mind when these things go haywire. And sorry, guys, there's not going to be an after party for this one because, as I just said, I'm going to go out and have some surf and turf because I fucking can, and I live in a coastal city, so the seafood's always fresh.
Right,
so thanks again, man.
Yeah,
you too, and yeah, you betcha. And you guys remember, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. All right, so peace out, guys.
later.